This conference will now be recorded.
Hi guys, good morning. In the last session, we understood how to work with Git repository by using Spring Tools IDE. Not only Spring Tools IDE, we can use Eclipse IDE also, or we can use IntelliJ also to perform Git operations. For every IDE, by default, Git plugin will be available. So we can perform Git client operations directly from our IDE. Right now. So we can use IDE to perform the operations, or you can use git bash also to perform the operations. So git bash is command based. You need to remember those commands. In the IDE, directly you have options to perform those operations. Right. Now, in today's session, we are going to work with branches in GitHub. So as part of this session, we will understand what is branch in GitHub, what is branch in GitHub. Next one, why we need branches, in repository, how to create branches, in Git repository, how to merge branches in Git repository, what is pull request, and how to resolve conflicts in code. So today's agenda will try to cover these concepts. If anything we are not able to complete it by today, that will be discussed in the tomorrow's session. But agenda for this concept, working with branches in the GitHub. As part of the branches discussion, we need to understand all these concepts. What is branch in GitHub? Why we need branches in Git repository? How to create branches in Git repository, how to merge branches in Git repository, what is pull request, and how to resolve conflicts in code. All right, let's get started. What is branch in GitHub? Right. So when we create Git repository, by default it will provide master branch. So whenever you create a Git repository in the github.com, for that repository, one default branch will be created. The default branch is called as master branch. So along with the master branch, we can create several other branches also. Branches nothing but just code bases. Branches are nothing but code bases. We can create several branches. In Git repository. Right. Now, what is a branch? Branch is just a code base in the Git repository. Whenever we create a repository, by default, master branch will be created, right? We can create several branches also in Git repository, right? So generally in Git repository, we will create branches with below names. Branches like below. So what will happen? A branch by default, master branch will be coming. That is the default. We no need to create that. Next, we will create a branch with a name called develop. Then we'll create a branch with a name called future. Then we'll create a branch with a name called QA. And we'll create a branch with a name called UAT. Then we'll create a branch with a name called release. These are general branch names that people are going to use to create the branches. So in Git repository, generally, these are very common branches that we are going to see. master is default branch. Along with the master, we are going to create several other branches also with these names, right? So what is a branch? Branch is just a code base. Branch is just a code base. When we create a Git repository, by default, master branch will be created. Along with that, we can create several other branches also. In the real time, how people will use the names for the branches. So like this, people will create the branches in the Git repository, like develop branch, feature branch, QA branch, UAT branch, and release branch. Like this, names will be available. Sir, what is the advantage of creating these many branches? What is the advantage of creating these many branches? To support parallel teamwork. So in a project, multiple teams will be available. So for development only, in the development only, multiple subcategories will be available. Some team members are called as ongoing development team. Some team members are called as R&D team. Some team members are called as a bug fix team. Some team members are called as a production support team. All these are developers only. So development team again divided into multiple categories, again divided into subcategories, right? Now, so if we take now here one Git repository is available. This is my Git repo. Assume that this is our Git repository. Inside the Git repository, there is one branch with a name called master. There is one branch with a name called master branch is available. Right. Now, how many teams are available in the development? In the development, again, sub teams are available. Again, sub teams are available. Now, these three people are working on ongoing development. Whenever new requirement comes from the client, whenever new requirement comes from the client, these team members are responsible for that. These team members are responsible for that. These are called as ongoing development team. Any new requirements comes, that requirement will be done by ongoing dev team. Ongoing dev team will work on new requirements coming from the client. Now, there is a other team. This team is responsible for SIT and UAT fixes. Any bug that occurred in the testing stage, our testers are going to test our application. If any bug occurred in the testing stage, that bug will be fixed by these developers. These are bug fixing team. This team is called as bug fixing team. Similarly, now there are some developers available who are working on production support. Whenever issue occurs in the production environment, live environment, this support team members has to fix that problem. This team members has to fix that problem. This is also called as M&O team, maintenance and operations team. Maintenance and operations team, M&O team, or prod support team, we'll call it as prod support dev team. Prod support dev team, bug fixing dev team. This is called as bug fixing dev team. All these members are developers only. So together, all these are called as dev team. But in the dev team, again, some categories are available. Again, some categories are available. One category, ongoing dev team. Second category, bug fixing dev team. Third category, production dev team, production support dev team. Right. Now, see here, all these developers will work with the code only. Developer means code is very important for us. Daily we are going to touch the code. We will modify the existing code, or we'll create the new, we will write the new code in the application, like that. Every day we will deal with the code in our project. Where that code will be available? That code we are going to store in the repository. That code we are going to store in the repository. Inside the repository, there is a concept called branch. There is a concept called branch. Branch is nothing but one code base, right? By default, in the Git repository, we will have a branch with a name called master. By default, we'll have a branch with a name called master, right? Now, assume that these ongoing developers are working on the development activity. Daily, whatever the code they are writing, they are keeping in the master branch. this development is there for next 2 months of time. Next 2 months we have a development work. Daily they are working on the development activities, and whatever the code that they are writing, they are keeping that code in the master branch. That is fine. Now some functionality testing is happening in the SIT and UAT. So there also some bugs are occurring. So those bugs are fixing by this dev team. These people are modifying the existing code. They are also making the changes in the master branch. They're also making the changes in the master branch. That is fine. Next one, production support team is available. Whatever the issues occurring in the production, these people are fixing those issues and they are keeping the code in the master repository only. Now, if all these teams are working on the same repository, in the same code base, what is the problem? Right? Production issue occurred. Today, one production issue occurred. This production dev team fixed that issue. Production dev team fixed that issue. They committed and pushed the code to the repository. Now, what should happen? That code should be deployed to the production server. That code should be deployed to the production server. But only production fixed modified code is available, or ongoing development code is also available. Ongoing development code is also available in the same branch. Ongoing development code is also available in the same branch. When that ongoing code should go to the production, it is for another after 6 months of time. So for next in the December we have a delivery. In the December we have a delivery. For the December delivery we started the development. So whatever the new code that they are writing, initially in the development starting stage, code will not have the quality. First of all, requirements will not be clear. We don't know what we need to do properly. So daily we are making small requirement functionalities we are developing. We are keeping that code into the master branch. Right. Now, last month we gave given some functionality to the testing. Testers are testing the application. They found some bugs. Those bugs are fixing by one team. The team also changing the code in the master repository. So ongoing development code is available. The testing is progress. The testing is in progress. That code is also available. Now, actually in the August we have a release. For the release which is in the August, now assume that. Let me give some numbering for that. Now, this ongoing development team working on release number 7.3. Release number 7.3, which is scheduled for December 2nd. December 2nd, we have a scheduled production deployment. So for that deployment, some requirements we are developing. Ongoing dev team is working on that. December 2 is the release date for the production. The release number is release 7.3. Now here, this release is called as release 7.2. The release 7.2. This release 7.2 schedule is there in August 14th. August 14th, release 7.2 should go to the production. For every release, one number will be available. Now assume that is release number 2. So that should go to the production on the August 14th. Production support, this is release 1. Whenever release 1, when the release is happened, release 7.1, it is running in the production. Release 7.1 running in the production. Now if you see release 7.1 which is done, assume that on May 20th. May 20th we have done the deployment to production environment like this. 3 different teams are working in the development. Are you able to understand? So these generally in the Agile terminology, these are called as a sprints. These are called as a sprints, right? May 20th, we released our project to the production. Some issues are occurring in the production for the release. The release number is 7.1. 3 team members are working on the production bug fixes. Any issue occurs in the production, these 3 members are going to fix that bug, right? So whenever they fix that bug, some code will be modified. They are keeping the code in the master branch only. Assume that. Right. Now, so now after the 7.1, we planned for 7.2. We planned for 7.2. That is on August 14th release. August 14th release. So development completed. Testing is also almost done. Final stage of testing is going on. So that UAT is going on. UAT is the final stage for testing. In that UAT, some issues are occurring. Those issues are fixing by this bug fixing dev team. These 3 developers are responsible. This second row people are responsible to fix the bugs which are occurred in the testing area, testing environment. right? So as part of the bug fixing, they will also modify some classes, they will also modify some methods. Code fix they are doing, some code will be modified. Similarly, some three developers are there, they are called as ongoing developers. They are working for release 7.3. Some functionalities are going to production on the December 2nd. So three different teams are working on the same project, right? But different releases. First team, first row people working on the future release, that is December 2. Second row people working on release 7.2, which is planned on August 14th. Right? Third row people are working on the production support, which is already deployed into the production. Are you able to follow this? Right. So daily, this ongoing team creating some classes, creating some methods, they are keeping in the repository. Fine, no problem. Next, this release 7.2 people, whatever the existing code is available, they are fixing some issues available in the code. They are also keeping the code into the same master branch. Now tell me, because of this new development happening for R.3, R7.3, there may be some impact on the R7.2 or not. So because of the new code, whatever this R7.3 team is doing, with the code changes, will there be any impact on the release 7.2 code, or there will not be any impact on the release 7.2 code? I need answer for this. I'm asking a question. R7.3 team is doing some coding on daily basis. They are keeping the code into the repository. R7.2 people also modifying some code. They are keeping in the same repository. With these two teams, there will be any code integration problem, or there will not be any code integration problem? Come on, guys. It will impact the release. Definitely it is going to impact the release, right? Because whatever the code that they have done for the release 7.2, that code is already almost tested. That is in the final stage. But what is happening is that class is available in the same branch. One of these developer R7.3 developer thought that there is a method available in the Diego. According to the new requirement, that method has to be modified. He will go and modify that method. The 7.3 developer will go and modify that method according to release 7.3 functionality. But that method is working as expected for the release 7.2. This person modified that method. With that modification, release 7.2 functionality not working. So definitely, if a multiple releases code is in the same branch, definitely there will be a problem in the code base. And one more thing, code is running in the production. This ongoing developers is doing daily so many changes to the code base. Because of those changes, whenever we do next deployment to the production, there is no guarantee all functionalities will work as expected or not. So that is the reason we should not allow all the development teams to commit and push the code to the same branch, because code integration problems will be available, release problems will be available, impact definitely will be there on the release. If all the three teams are committing and pushing code to the same master branch, then we will not be able to manage our releases for the production. So that is the reason in the Git repository we will maintain multiple branches. Right. Now, how we are going to maintain those branches? Let us try to understand. Now, instead of asking all the developers to commit and push to the same repository, we will create separate branches for them. Now, master branch is available. From this master branch, we will create one branch with a name called release. From this master branch, we will create one branch with a name called release branch. Right. Now, whenever we need to deploy our code to the release branch, whenever we need to deploy our code to the production, whatever the code is there in the master branch, we will keep the same complete copy paste in the release branch. Right? Whatever the code that is available in the master branch, that code we are going to take and we are going to keep in the release branch. Now, from the release branch, we will deploy our code to production. From the release branch, code will be deployed to prod server. From the release branch, code will be deployed to production server. Now, fine, some issues are occurring. Right then, who is going to work on those issues in the production? This MNO team will be available. Production support team will be available. These people will be working on the bug fixes which are arranged in the production environment. Now, what this project management will do is, guys, the code whatever is there in the master, we kept in the release branch. From the release branch, code is moved to the production. Now, whenever there is any change, whenever there is any fix for the production, definitely that code should be modified in the release branch. Now, that code will go to production from the release branch only. That is what we are going to tell. Right now, for the production deployment, there is a dedicated branch in the Git that is called release branch. Similarly, now here SIT people are there, the people who are working on the bug fixes. For them, here we are going to create one more branch in the Git repository. That branch we will call it as a QA. So whenever the issue occurs in the testing environment, that code will be fixed by this team. This team will commit the code to the QA branch. Now, whenever there is a new release available, for the new release, we are going to create a branch with a name called develop. The people who are working on ongoing development, those people will commit the changes to develop branch only. Right? So people who are working on the release 7.3, they will keep their code in the develop branch. The people who are working on the bug fixing, those people keep their code in the QA branch. The team who is working in the production support, that code will be available in the release branch. So within the repository, we created several code bases. Those code bases are called as branches in the Git repository. What is the advantage of going for these branches? So whatever the ongoing development is happening, that code will be available in the develop branch, which is not impacting release 7.2 functionality, which is not impacting release 7.1 functionality, because release 7.1 functionality code available in the release branch, release 7.2 functionality code available in the QA branch, ongoing development for release 7.3 code will be available in the development branch. So daily this R7.3 team will commit the code. There is nothing impacting on the QA, because QA code is already there in the separate branch. When we deploy the code to the QA, code will be taken from the QA branch. Whenever there is a bug in the production, that code will be changed in the release. That code will be deployed to the production from the release environment, from the release branch only. So these three teams are working different report branches. These people are going to work on different branches. Right now, one person modified one existing method available in the develop branch. Will it impact anything on the release 7.2? No, release 7.2 is not going to impact, because for the release 7.2 already code is freezed in the QA. From the QA it will go to release. From the release it will go to production. So the developers for the 7.3, what are the changes they are making? They will not come to QA, they will not come to the release immediately. Once 7.2 release is completed, then the QA branch changes will be merged with the develop branch. They will work on the development part. Are you able to understand this? So why we need to maintain branches? So if we maintain branches like this, there will not be any confusion for the releases in the project. If you maintain only one branch, it is very confusing for the team members, and it is very confusing to integrate the code also. It is very confusing to integrate the code, and it is very confusing to release for the production also. Now, if I don't have this kind of separation, if I don't have this kind of segmentation in the Git repository, every code, every release code is available in the one place. We don't differentiate which code should go for testing, which code should go for production, which code is doing for the development activities. We cannot differentiate that. So to avoid this problem, we are going to use a concept called branches in the Git repository. We are going to use a concept called branches in the Git repository. When we use branches, the clear separation available for the code bases. 7.3 code should go to only this branch. Bug fixing code should go to only this branch. Production bug fixes should code will go to this branch. That clear differentiation will be available. Then confusion will not be there for the team members, and code integration also will be easy, and code release to the production also will be easy. That is the reason we are going to maintain branches in the Git repository. So what is a branch? Branch nothing but a code base where the team members are going to work on. Right. So generally, what are the branches will be available in the Git repository? In the Git repository, by default, master branch will be available. Based on that master, we will create several other branches also, like development branch, feature branch, QA branch, UAT branch, prod branch, release branch, like that. Different branches we are going to create in the Git repository. What is the advantage of maintaining these branches? Clear separation will be available for the development teams. Development team is only one, but in that subcategories are available, like release 7.3 team, release 7.2 team, release 7.1 team. So like these teams will be available. When the multiple teams are working parallelly, branches are required. For the parallel development activities, we need branches in the Git repository. If there is only one team, then branch, you don't see that much useful for the branch, use of the branch. But when multiple teams are working, when multiple members are working on the project, then branches are very important. Are you able to follow this? If any confusion, message me in the chat box. Right. Fine. All of you clear with this? Why we need to go for branches? What is a branch? Why we need to go for the branches? Basic idea, I hope you got it. Right. Branches are used to maintain separate code bases for all the teams who are working in the development. Right. Now, so our project will be having multiple releases. Our project is having multiple releases. For every release, we will do some functionality development. That functionality code we will release to the production. Right. So parallelly, some members working on the development. Some members will work on the development. Some members will be working on the code which is already developed, bug fixing. Some members will be working on the code which is already released to the production. Like that, multiple teams will be available in the development. So if multiple teams are working parallelly, then branches are required in the Git repository. If we don't have these branches in the Git repository, then everything is going to confuse. If you don't have branches in the Git repository, then everything is going to be confused. Array, which functionality, which code is done for 7.3 release, which code is done for 7.2, which code is done for 7.1, that confusion will be there. So that is the reason we are going to maintain branches in Git repository. Right. Now let us see how to create those branches in the Git account. Let me go to my GitHub account. I'm opening my Git account. Yes, here we have GitHub account. I logged into this account. Now we can create a repository also, or we can use existing repositories also. Right. Now here there is one repository available. There is one repository in this, already branches are created. Let me take a new repository where the branches are not there. Spring Boot web application. Yes, right. Now observe carefully. Whenever we take a repository, whenever we do a commit, here in the Git repository, it will display branch. By default, what is the branch? It is displaying master branch. It is a code. This code belongs to master branch available in the repository. This is my repository name, Spring Boot Web App. In this repository, code is already committed. That code is available in which branch? Master branch. The code is available in the master branch. Now assume that. Client gave some requirements for us. Clients gave some requirements for us. Right? Now we need to work on those development activities. Client gave a requirements for us. Now we need to work on that development activity. Now assume that those are for release 7.3. Those are for release 7.3. Can you go and do the coding directly in the master branch? That is not recommended. That is not recommended. Whenever you are working on a release for release 7.3, that is a new development activity, what I will do is from this master branch, I will create one branch with a name called develop. I will create one branch with a name called develop. Create a branch with a name called develop. Now I will tell to my development team members, boys who are working on the release 7.3, whatever the code you do, that code you need to commit and push to develop branch only. Don't commit and push your code to master branch. Don't touch the master branch. Don't touch the master branch. You just copy the code from master branch to the develop branch. Whatever the development you are going to do, make your code changes to develop branch only. Make your code changes to develop branch only. It should not impact on the existing code. It should not impact on the existing code. What are the changes you are doing for release 7.3 development activities you do on this develop branch? That means clearly separation. Just cloning. So generally in the Java also you learned a cloning concept. Why we will do for cloning? If you want to create a duplicate object for the existing object, you will go for a cloning. Why? I don't want to modify the data in the original object. I want to modify the data on the duplicate object. For that we will do cloning concept in the Java. Similarly in the Git also cloning concept is available. So you don't do any modifications on the existing branch. You just copy that branch to another. You just copy the code to another branch. Then create it as a develop. The development activities you can do on the develop branch. So tomorrow, after some development activities are completed, client told that please stop working on release 7.3. Now that is not that much priority for me. 15 days of code you have done. Daily you committed your code to repository. After 15 days, your client told that I don't need this functionality at this moment. Please stop it. Please stop it. Do I need to modify anything in the master branch? Do I need to remove anything from the master branch? Nothing, because the code that we have done is maintained in a separate branch. If you don't want it, simply you can delete this branch. Simply you can delete this branch. But without maintaining this develop branch, if you directly modify the code to master branch, what will happen? After 15 days, you need to remove all the code, whatever you have done for the 15 days. That is again a maintenance activity. It is very difficult to understand what code we have modified in the last 15 days. So that's why always whenever you are going to work on any new functionality, then we are going to create a branch for that. How to create a branch, right? So this code is already available in the master. So from this master, I want to copy paste. That's it. I want to copy paste. Now see here. Here I have a code which is called as master. Here several files are available. My coding files are available. Our Java project files are available. I don't want to modify this. I don't want to modify my files here. What I will do is from this master, I will create one branch with a name called develop. I will create one branch with a name called develop. Right? So the developers who are working on the project, they are going to work on this develop branch. They are going to work on this develop branch. Then what is the advantage for us? What is the advantage for us? Existing code is not impacting. Existing code is not impacting. Whatever the development activities we are doing, that code is going to the develop branch only. Right now, so what we need to do? What we need to do? So here from the master branch, we are creating a develop branch. How to create it? Go to this Git repository. Here branch master is available, right? By default, master will be coming for you. You don't need to do anything. If you just create a repository in the Git, if you commit one file, by default that will come to the master branch, right? Now, here check on this drop down. Check on this drop down. Click on this drop down. Switch branches or tags. Find or create a branch. Currently, there is only one branch with the name called master. Here I will develop the name as a develop. What they are saying? Create a branch developer from master. Read that English properly. Create branch developer from master develop. Create branch develop from master. That means whatever the files available in the master branch will be copied to the develop branch. Whatever the files available in the master branch, those files will be copied to develop branch. Now click on it. Click on it. Now we are pointing to branch called develop. Now if you want to switch it, then where is that Spring Boot application? Now currently master branch available, develop branch available, master is a default. Now we have created a develop branch. Now we created a develop branch. Are you able to understand? So we are just maintaining two code bases in the single repository. So these all are available in the single repository. Master branch available by default. From the master branch we created develop branch so that ongoing development activities can be commit and pushed to this develop branch. To this develop branch. Right now, sir, what is the guarantee? My code will be pushed to only develop branch. My code will not be pushed to master branch. Let us experiment that. Let us experiment that. Now, so these three members are going to work on the development activities for release 7.3. So whatever the code they want to do, they don't want to commit that code to master. They want to commit that code to develop branch. So one of the team member has logged into the GitHub account. He created a branch with the name called develop. Now just now I have shown you how to create a branch also. Once this is completed, now this team members has to work on it. They have to take the code. So now assume that that person name is Suman. Suman, he has to work on that person name is Suman. He has to work on the release 7.3 task. So he has to set up the workspace. He has to set up the workspace. Could you please tell me how to set up workspace? What is the first step this Suman has to do? What is the first step that Suman has to do? I need answers from you. So this Suman has to clone that branch. This Suman has to clone that branch. Now, so here you can clone from the IDE also, or you can clone from Git Bash also. We will feel comfortable with the Git Bash first. Go to Git Bash. Go to Git Bash. Right. What is the command? What is the command to clone a repository? What is the command that I need to use to clone a repository? Please text in the chat box. Please text in the chat box. What is the command that I need to use to clone the repository? Git clone and repository URL. We will use git clone repository URL. Here, if you give git clone repository URL, it will clone the project from master branch by default. It will clone from master branch by default. Git clone this, copy this URL. Now, if I specify this, if I specify here, if I execute it, it is going to clone the code from the master branch. Whenever I do some commit and push, where it will do? It will do the master branch. I don't want to do that. I don't want to clone the master branch. I want to work on the develop branch. My code changes should go to which branch? My code changes should go to develop branch. My code changes should not go to the master branch. My code changes should not go to the master branch. Right. Now, after create a branch, now workflow. Login into Git repository. Login into Git repository. Create develop branch from master branch. Create develop branch from master branch. We have done that. Clone develop branch code. Clone develop branch code. So if you execute git clone repository URL, it will clone by default master branch. But I want to clone develop branch. Right. Let me write that point here. Note. If we execute git clone repo URL, it clones master branch by default. If we execute git clone, it clones master branch code by default. If you want to clone a specific branch code, if we want to clone specific branch code, then we should execute below command. So as of now, we executed a clone command which will take the code directly from the master branch. It will give you master branch. But I don't want to clone the master branch. I want to clone develop branch. So what is the syntax we need to follow for that is git -b branch name space repository URL. This is the command that we need to use if we want to clone a specific branch to your local from the central. In the central repository, two branches are available. One is called as a master branch, one is called as a develop branch. Now, if I execute this git clone command, by default, master branch will come to my system. I don't want that. I want to take the code from develop branch, right? So git -b branch name is develop, and I need to specify repository URL. Then code will be coming from develop branch to my system. Whenever I do commit and push, it will go to only develop branch. It will go to only develop branch. It will not go to the master branch. Right? So the command you need to remember: git -b branch name repository URL. When to execute only git clone command, when to execute git -b clone command, git clone -b, branch name and repository URL. When to execute this git clone repository URL directly, when to execute git clone with -b branch name. If you want to take the code from master branch, then we'll go for git clone command. If you want to take the code from a specific branch in the git repository, then we should go for git clone -b branch name command. Right. Now I want to clone the code from develop branch. Right. Now, so here Suman is trying to clone it. Right. Open git bash. Already opened. It is pointing to Suman system now. Let's execute git clone -b. What is the branch name? Develop is the branch name. The branch name is develop. Right. Now space repository URL. Copy repository URL. Right. Paste it. Now execute. It is cloning from develop branch. Right. Now Suman is able to clone Spring Boot web application from the Git repository. Get into that folder, cd space Spring Boot app. What it is pointing here? It is pointing to develop. If you want to check it, you can specify here git branch. So which branch code is available in the Suman system now? Code is available from develop branch. Right. Now similarly, let's take another person folder. Now let me take my name, Ashok. Right. I have created a folder with a name called Ashok on the desktop. Now I'm opening git bash. Here I will execute directly clone command. Git clone directly repository URL. I will execute a command called git clone. I will copy repository URL for that. I will copy repository URL for that. Then what will happen? From which branch it is going to clone that code? So I'm directly executing git clone repository URL. It is going to clone the code from which branch? The default branch, which is master. It is going to clone the code. It is going to clone the code from a default branch, which is called master. Now execute, enter. Enter. Now check the name of the branch, git branch. Sorry, cd space, get into the project folder. Now git branch master. So Ashok code base is pointing to the master branch and Suman code is pointing to the develop branch. Suman code is pointing to now when Suman is executed. See here, currently let me clear this git bash and let me clear the git bash from here also. Done. Now here two people are working. Assume that two people are working on this git. Two people are working on this git. Two people are working on this git. Now one is from Ashok system, another one is from Suman system. Ashok system and Suman system. Ashok has done the clone, git clone directly. So he got the code from which branch? Let us check it. Git branch. When Ashok executed that git branch command, it is displaying as a master. That means Ashok is pointing to master branch in the git repository. Now execute the same command in the Suman system. Now git branch. When Suman executed the git branch command, it is giving develop branch. When Ashok executed the git branch command, it is giving master branch. That means these two developers are pointing to two repositories. Now, whatever the code whatever the code that committed by Suman is not impacting to the Ashok code. Whatever the code Ashok is committing will not impact to the Suman code because these two developers are pointing to two different branches. These two developers are pointing to two different branches. Are you able to understand how to create a branch and how to clone a branch? Creating the branch directly we will do in the github.com. There we have an option to create it. Now to clone it, we have a command git clone -b branch name. So based on that particular branch code base we are going to clone it. Now let's commit and see. So first from Suman folder, I am going to commit the code and I will see where it is reflecting. Then I will commit the code from Ashok system. Then I will see where it is reflecting. So it is going to reflect in the respective branches. If Suman commit the system from that folder, it will go to develop branch. If Ashok commit the code from that folder, it will go to master branch. Right. Now, first let me go to Suman system. Suman system means here I created just a folder for the Suman. This is the project which is pointing by Suman. Right now. So let's maximize this. This is a Suman folder. Clear. Now this is a Suman folder which is pointing to a branch called dev. Now let us go to the Suman folder. This is Suman folder. Go to src main Java. Right. Go to boot web application. Boot web application. Right. Here I will simply write one variable. Just I want to do some variable here. Integer a is equal to some 10. Integer a is equal to 10. I modified one Java class. Now, do you know how to commit those Java classes? Right. Currently, we are pointing to Suman system. I modified the code also in the same folder. Right. How can I check? First, what I modified? Status. There is a file which is modified. It is not staged for commit. Can I stage that file for commit? Git add -a. Git add -a. That file is staged for commit. Next one, git status. That file is staged for commit. Now git commit -m message added variable. Added variable. Yes, right. So here file is committed to local. Now let us push this file. Before pushing that file, let us check once. Go to SRC. Go to SRC folder. In which branch we are pointing currently? Verify. We are pointing to a branch called develop branch. Now go to SRC main SB web application.java. So see, in this folder, this file is available. In that file, there is no variable available. There is no variable with the integer. Fine. Similarly, go to master branch also. Check in the master branch. In the master branch also for this file, that variable is not available. So currently that variable not available in the develop branch and that variable not available in the master branch also. Fine, perfect. Let us do commit. Let us do commit from Suman. So Suman folder is already done the commit. Just I am doing git push command. I am giving git push command. Yes, committed to develop branch. Go and check it. Check our repository. Currently, it is pointing to master. See here, develop less than a minute ago, one commit is happened in the develop branch. You recently pushed branches, right? Develop branch has made one change. Now, branch select develop. Now, go to SRC. Go to that file. Spring Boot web application.java. You can see 11th line variable is added. This file is Spring application.java file is available in the develop branch. Now go to a branch called master. I'm changing to master branch. Switching to master branch. Go to SRC folder. Go to main and check this class. In the 11th number, that variable is not available. So whatever the file that is committed by Suman, that commit happened and pushed it to only develop branch, which is not impacting the code which is available in the master branch. So always, whenever ongoing development is happening in the project, we don't make the development changes directly to the branches like a master branch. We will make the changes to new branch which is created for this development activity. This is highly recommended. This is highly recommended. Tomorrow, when you are going to work on the project development also, if your task is a big complex task, if your task is a R&D task, don't modify the code directly in the branches which are available. For your task, you can create one branch called future branch. For your task, you can create one branch called future branch. Now assume that master branch is available, master branch available, and develop branch also available here. Master branch available, develop branch available. This develop branch available for these three developers. This is for release 7.3. This is for release R 7.3. Release 7.3. This branch is for all these three developers. Now assume that this is me, and this is some Ram, and this is some Raj. We are the three people working on the release 7.3 development. For the release 7.3, we created a branch called develop branch. Almost 1 month completed. We have done a lot of coding. That code is available in the develop branch. Now, today I got one Jira story with a name called HAS 543 is my Jira story. Jira ID. HAS 543 is my story. This story is a R&D task. This story is a R&D task. R&D nothing but research and development. I also don't have idea. I am working on some new API. I am working on some new technology. Yes, let me take an example. In my project, we are using RESTful services. By using Spring with REST, by using Spring Boot, we are developing our RESTful services. But in the market, when a new technology came to develop a REST API, which is called Vertex, which is called as Vertex. By using this, very easily we can develop a REST API. So we are already working with the Spring with REST. But in the market, there is another technology which supports for REST API development, that is called as Vertex. That is called Vertex. Now, my manager told that, hey Ashok, you work on this HIS 543. It is a R&D task. It is a R&D task. You do some research and development on the Vertex. That means I need to search for the materials on the Vertex. I need to read those materials. I need to do some APIs. I need to present that API to my team as a seminar. Right? That R&D task I need to do by using Vertex. Now, do you think that whatever the code I will do for the Vertex, directly will I do on the developer branch? I don't do that, because this Vertex is new to me, new to my company, new to my project. Nobody is good in the Vertex. So my research and development may be successful or may be failure. My research and development may be successful or may be failure. Now assume that what are the changes that I am doing for Vertex R&D? If I commit the changes to the developer branch only, then what is the problem? After 1 week, I realized that Vertex is not working for us. It is very difficult. Spring with REST is better than Vertex. If you decide that after 1 week, what is happening? What is going to happen? For past 10 days or 1 week of time, whatever the code you have done for the Vertex, you committed to the developer branch. Now you need to remove all that code from the developer branch. You need to remove all that code from the development branch. That is very difficult task. That is very difficult task. For that, as an experienced people, as an experienced person, what I will do if I get such kind of story? As an experienced person in the industry, so how I am going to manage this story is, what I will do, as my manager told me to work on the Vertex API research and development as part of this Jira 543. Now, this is for release 7.3 only. So my manager told that, Ashok, so many releases we have done with the Spring with REST in our project. Why can't we do this release by using Vertex API? Could you please do some analysis on that? So now, if I go and change directly in the development branch, it will impact on the remaining 2 developers code. Ram and Raj also working on the same branch for the same release. I am also working on the same branch for the same release. Whatever the code I commit to the release 7.3 may disturb the functionality of the Ram and Raj code. Whatever the code done by the Ram and Raj for the same release, that code game may get disturbed because of the code that I am doing for the Vertex. Are you able to follow me? To avoid this kind of problem, as an experienced person, when I am working on such kind of story, what I will do is, from this development branch, I am going to create one more branch called feature branch. I will create one more branch with a name called feature branch. With that feature branch, I will give the name as a feature 543, because this branch I created only for this story HIS 543. Just for the coding related to 543, I created a branch from the develop to the future. I created the code from develop branch. From the develop branch, I created the feature branch. What does that mean? Whatever the code that is already available in the develop branch, I am copying into a new branch called feature branch. Now, in this feature branch, I am going to do some Vertex implementation. It is a new API. Vertex implementation. Now, I am working on that. Assume that I am working on that Vertex related changes. Vertex related changes. Now, I am the developer. So what I have done is, whatever the Vertex changes I have done, whatever the Vertex changes I am going to do, those Vertex changes I don't commit to the develop branch, because Vertex implementation is a R&D. It is a trial and error method. It may work or it may not work. Whatever the changes I have done for the Vertex, those Vertex changes I will commit it to the future branch daily. Whatever the code that I am doing daily basis for the Vertex, instead of committing my code to the develop branch, I will commit my code to a future branch called 543. So because it is a 10 days R&D, it is 10 days R&D. Daily, whatever the code I do for the Vertex, that code I will commit and push to the future branch called 543. Why? Because I don't want to disturb the code which is already available in the develop branch. I don't want to disturb the code which is already available in the develop branch. Why? If I keep my vertex code also in the develop branch, the functionality of the Ram and Raj may break. Whatever the code that is doing by Ram and Raj, because of my vertex changes, their functionality may get disturbed. I don't want to disturb their functionality. That functionality should work as it is. But I want to do the vertex. I don't want to do on the same branch. Then what I will do? From this develop branch, I am going to create one more branch called future branch. This is my R&D branch. Whatever the new changes I am doing for the vertex, those changes I will commit to the future branch called 543. This is my branch I created for that. From where I created? From the develop. So whatever the code is available in the develop branch, I will commit my code to the future branch. Whatever the code is available in the develop, I will copy it to the future. Creating the branch, nothing but copying the code from one branch to another branch. Whatever the code, these three people, Ashok, Ram, Raj, we are three. Whatever the code we have done till today, that code is for release 7.3, that is available in the develop branch. But from tomorrow onwards, I have to work on a story which is called 543. That story is related to vertex implementation in the project. I am new to the vertex implementation. My team is also new to the vertex implementation. I need to do some research and development. Whatever the code I will do for the vertex. If I commit my code to the develop branch, it may disturb the existing functionality of that project. So that is the reason I don't want to merge it. I want to maintain that code separately because it is a trial and error. Vertex implementation may be successful, may not be successful. That I will come to know after 10 days of R&D. Because I am new, I am learning, I am a beginner, I am beginner in the vertex. I need to learn it, I need to implement it. If it is successful, then happy. If it is failure, it should not disturb my existing code. So with that intention, every developer, when they are working on a complex story, they will create a branch from the existing branches. They will commit their code to the new branches which they created. Now, for example, me as Ashok, I created this branch called future branch from the develop. So whatever the code we have done till today, all these three, that code from the develop, copy it to the future. Developer branch is available, future branch is available. Ram and Raj is committing their code to develop branch. Ashok is going to commit vertex code to future branch. Ashok will commit the vertex code to future branch. Now 10 days completed. Successfully, I am able to implement a vertex API for REST API development. Then we are very happy. Then what I will do? Whatever the code I have done, that is perfect. That is not going to disturb the development branch existing code. Then I am going to merge the code, whatever I have done in the future branch, that code I am going to merge to develop branch. This is called branches merging. This is called branches merging. You mean first time when I am doing the vertex implementation, I am not sure I will get success of this implementation because I am a beginner. I'm doing an experiment. I'm doing an experiment. My experiment may be successful or may be failure. So with that doubtful mindset, I don't want to disturb the others. That's why I created my branch. If I don't do the proper coding for vertex, if I'm not able to understand it, still existing functionality not breaking, I'm creating a separate branch. After 10 days, by hook or crook, my implementation is successful. So whatever the code I have done for the vertex, it is perfect. It is perfect. Now I can integrate vertex code. I can use that code in the existing code base because vertex code is tested. Everything is working as expected, and I am sure it is not going to disturb the existing functionality. Then what I will do? Then I will merge the code from future branch to the develop branch because in the develop branch, Ram and Raj are working. I also worked till last 10 days back. That code is required for 7.3. Vertex code also required for 7.3 only. 7.3 is a release number for the production. Right. So whatever the vertex code I have done in the future branch, that future branch code now I need to merge it to the develop branch. That is called branch merging. That is called branch merging. Now my task is completed. HIS 543 task is completed. Vertex task is implemented. Everything is perfect. My code is developed. My code is tested. Everything is perfect. Now I can merge the code whatever I had done for the vertex in the future branch with that developed branch. That is called branch merging. Sir, how to merge these branches? To merge these branches, we are going to use a concept called pull request. Whenever we need to merge the code from one branch to another branch, we need to go for a concept called pull request. Now, if you observe, when we go to this repository, Suman committed the code to the develop branch. What this Git is saying, hey Suman, you committed code to the develop branch, create a pull request. Why? Because your branch is created from the master, but you committed the code to the develop. That code you committed to the develop not there in the master. You can merge the code from the developer branch to the master branch by creating a pull request. Same thing for the Ashok also. Ashok created a branch called future branch from the develop branch. Whatever the code Ashok is committed to the future branch, that code is not available in the develop branch. Now, once the coding and testing is completed, what this Ashok has to do? He has to create a pull request to merge the code from the future branch to the develop branch. This is called branches merging. To merge the branches in the Git repository, we will use a concept called pull request. Are you able to understand what is pull request? Why we need to go for pull request? So what is pull request? Pull request is used to merge the code from one branch to another branch. How to merge branches in Git repository? By creating a pull request. Whenever you go and work with a pull request from one branch to another branch, there is a chance of getting the conflict. We will see how to resolve the conflicts also. Guys, I hope you are able to understand what is a branch, why we need to create the branches, how to create the branches, and what is pull request. What is a branch? Branch is a separate code base that will be created by the developers for not to disturb the existing functionality. Why we need branches? When you are working on the R&D task, you have to do it in a separate branch instead of disturbing the existing functionality. How to create the branches in the Git repository? In the GitHub account directly we can create a branch. How to merge branches in the Git repository? By creating a pull request. What is pull request? When you want to merge the code from one branch to another branch, you need to create a pull request. So whenever you are going to merge by using pull request, there is a chance of getting conflict. Now I will show you how to create the pull request and how to get how that conflicts will occur and how to resolve the conflicts also. Those pull request creation and conflict resolution we will discuss in the next session. So for today we understood what is branch, why we need branches, and how to create the branches. And I gave the introduction for pull request. In the tomorrow session, I will show you how to create a pull request, how to merge the changes from one branch to another branch, how to resolve the conflicts also. Right. So I hope with this you understood what is branch and how to create the branch also. Now, let me create future branch from the develop. Already from the master branch, development branch is created. Now, I want to work on this Vertex implementation in the project. Instead of making the changes on the development branch, I want to make the changes in a new branch. Right? Now, how to create that branch? Go to your repository. Now, see what is the branch we are pointing. Branch is master. Now, select develop. Whatever the code that is there in the develop, I want it in the future. Code base is a code branch is a develop now. Now, enter the branch name as feature 534, which is for Vertex. Feature 534 Vertex branch. Vertex branch. Create feature 543 Vertex from develop. Then what will happen? That branch will be created. Future branch is created less than a minute ago. Now my code is pointing to future. Now, how can I clone this project from the future branch? Can you tell me how can I clone the project from the future branch now? Right, assume that here I am taking a folder called Vertex implementation. Vertex implementation now. Can you tell me how can I clone the Vertex branch into my system by using git bash? Can anybody answer that in the chat box? Can anybody answer in the chat box? Come on, fast. Git clone -b branch name. What is the branch name? Vertex 534 feature 534 feature -543 Vertex. Let me type it. Feature -534 what is the name? Vertex. Vertex space repository URL I need to provide. So go to this GitHub account. There you can copy the repository URL. We can copy the repository URL. Right. Paste. Now clone. CD space project name. What is that? Spring Boot application. I think there is a spelling mistake. 534 I have given. What is the actual branch name? 543. Sorry. My branch name is 543. cloning into boot web app. Perfect. cd space project name. Now git branch. Git branch. Right. So now it is pointing to which branch now? It is pointing to future 543 vertex branch. Pointing to future 543 vertex branch. So whatever the code I will do and whatever the code I commit, to which branch it will go? It will go to the future branch. Is it disturbing the code available in the develop branch, or is it disturbing the code available in the master branch? No. The Ashok, whatever the code is, Ashok will commit for the vertex, it will go to the future 543 branch. After 10 days, once this development and testing is completed, I will merge my changes from the future branch to the develop branch by creating a pull request. Are you able to follow this? In the industry, whenever you are working on any story, it is recommended to create a future branch for every story. Don't do the coding directly on your development branches, because other developers' code may affect because of your coding. So that is the reason, what is the best practice we need to follow in the industry? If you are working on any story, from develop, create your own branch for your story. Create a branch with your story name, no problem. Nobody will question you why you created the branch. N number of branches you can create in the Git repository. That's not a problem. That's not a problem. Now, today I created 543 branch. My work is completed. I merged the changes from 543 branch to the develop branch. Fine, that is completed. I am going to work on 544 task again. One more task I am going to work on. For that task also, I will create one more branch. I will commit my code to that branch. Once my code is completed, once my testing is completed, if I am confident on my code, then I will merge my code from the 544 branch to the develop branch. So it is highly recommended to create the branches for the stories you are working on, so that you are not going to disturb the existing code available in the project. That is the recommended approach in the industry. Are you able to follow this? So when multiple team members are working on the same branch, you may overwrite somebody's code, or somebody will overwrite your code. To avoid the disturbance, highly recommended to create the branches. So you create a branch for your task. You do the coding there. Once your testing is completed, once you are perfect with your code, then merge your code with the develop branch. That is the recommended approach. How to merge code from one branch to another branch? By creating a pull request. So how to create a pull request? That we will discuss in the tomorrow session. Thank you guys. With this we understood what is branch, how to work with these branches, why we need branches, and what is branch merging, and why we need to go for branch merging, and what is pull request. Tomorrow practically we are going to work on all these pending concepts like a branches merging, pull request creation. By using pull request, we will merge the branches. All right. Thank you. We'll continue in the tomorrow session.